Hi, I'm your boy, the Media Prince, and I want to welcome you back to another epic season of great conversations, great laughs, great art, great stories, just plain old greatness, and we're here in the nation's capital. Welcome to Conversations with the Media Prince. What's going on, y'all? You're here with your boy, the Media Prince, for another episode of Conversations with the Media Prince, where I get to dive into some iconic people's stories so they can share their art with the rest of us and help us put the pieces of the puzzle together for our journeys. I am delighted that I have this iconic brother next to me, a renowned photographer, and I deem him as, I would just say he's an artiste. Like, he is the anchor behind a lot of the messages that are being put out into the world of the DMV. He's behind them, and I think he is probably one of the pillars of photography here that have really pushed our area and culture forward. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Shaughn Cooper.
Damn, that was probably one of the best introductions I've had in a long time. I appreciate it. It's always weird hearing who you are to other people, and just, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
And in my journey, I love to make sure I pour flowers to our champions, especially the ones that are really pushing our culture out to the forefront. So I got to give you more flowers because, like I said before, a lot of the messages, a lot of the stories that are being told, you are the messenger for them. You are taking these photographs that are anchoring what's happening here to the world. And that's a big feat that you have done for us. And so we thank you for that, because you help DMV in so many different facets with your art.
I mean, thank you, bro. I mean, I don't know. I just be trying my best, bro. Like, that's one thing, like, my mother left me with, is just whatever you do, just try your best, man. Like,
you've been executing your best now. It's
try
not
my
even
best.
try no more. You're doing it. It's happening. So take us all, so I was able to meet this brother. We met in 2016. He was working with somebody that I really looked up to in this field, Pat. Is dope.
Yeah.
And
that's my brother.
Just to see his growth and elevation from there to now is astonishing. It's inspiring, and it motivates. It's very motivational with what you're doing. Yeah. And I want to go all the way back. So, of course, I met him in 2016, but take us all the way back. When did that first creative eye for art even awaken within you?
Man, so as a child, I was really into hip hop. Like, as a child, like, I would be in the third grade trying to listen to The Chronic, trying to listen to Marshall Mathers LP, trying to listen to Doggy Style. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also, like, in the second and third grade, and my mother and my dad, like, my mother and my father, they always surrounded me around just, like, really good music. So we would go into these record stores, and I would always see, like, portraiture, like, on, like, these records. Like actual portraits, like just a portrait of an artist or just whatever, and it'll be a parental advisory sticker at the bottom of the vinyl or the CD cover, at the bottom left or the top left or the bottom right or the top right? And I mean, as a child, man, I wanted to make music, but the older I got, I realized that that wasn't really my gift. But I knew I wanted to be in some way, shape, or form in the world of music. So, you know, as I got older, I started to immerse myself into pop culture, like on Tumblr, like just blogging and just looking at, you know, just different shoes, and also just developing my ear for hip hop as well. And it's just the more I dug deeper into like black culture, pop culture, like I started to become more of a fan of photography than I did of any art, like any other art that, you know, I was interested in. Like after a while, it's like, okay, the older you get, you realize you ain't really going to the league, but you can be a coach. Like that's kind of how I felt with photography. It's like, okay, I can't really make music, but I could probably take pictures of people that make music, right? Like, I feel like that's when my gift came in, right? And I had my gift at an early age, man. I started studying photography like in like 2009. Like, my folks bought me a camera from a pawn shop over in Upper Marlboro. Like, we would always frequent that joint, like buying PlayStation 2 games, like just all types of shit, like stereo systems, DVDs, CDs, movies, like. And just one day I was like, damn, I think I really want to get a camera. And my parents, they got me a camera from the pawn shop. I think I got it. Yeah, they got it for me, right? They got it for me. And, you know, after a while, I just started, like, once I got the camera, I started taking pictures of my friends. I started taking pictures of, like, sneakers, flowers, and I would upload them on Tumblr, and I would get, like, a lot of, like, reposts and, like, reblogs on Tumblr, and, like, I would get a lot of compliments on my photography, and it meant a lot to me. So I started out with digital with, like, a point and shoot with, like, a cool pics, and then, like, as I got into high school, my art teacher, Mr. Smith, I think it was C Smith and J Smith, they introduced me into the world.
The twins.
You know, yeah, you know, look, so yeah, bro, they introduced
Those are my art
me.
teachers.
Look,
That's crazy.
Look, they was like some of the first people that I asked, like, about photography. Like, I think they started to realize how, like, serious I was about photography. Like, my family, like, my mother, my father, and my friends, they already knew I was serious about photography. But I would say J Smith and C Smith, they, like, really gave me, like, they gave me the confidence, and they also gave me the guidance to, like, really going to the next level at that time of just, like, pushing me to shoot with film, like, and just also, like, getting a pass for, like, carrying a camera around, like, high school. Like, high school is where I got a lot of my support from, man. Like, my school poured into me to the point where, like, teachers would be pulling me aside on my senior year, like, yo, what you about to do? I hope you ain't going to college. Like, you have a gift. Like, you need to just be out in the world creating. Like, you need to be doing what you're doing here, but out in the world. Like, you got our full support. Like, I went to college for, 2 semesters, and I dropped out because of that. Because it's like I was going back and forth between D.C., Maryland, and also just going back and forth between there and UMES. And it's like I got the same support that I would get from my high school at UMES. So I was like, okay, I'm getting this support for photography. At the time, I was there for accounting. And, I mean, I was going to sleep in class. Like, I wasn't doing my homework. Like, to this day, I still have dreams about me just failing classes while I was in college. Like, and it's just like, okay, maybe I'm just not, like, maybe I wasn't born on this earth to do this, right? So I dropped out. Because the day that I was, like, the deadline for me to move into my dorm in 2016, prior to that, just, okay, we can just rewind a little bit, right? Prior to that, I was shooting festivals leading up to, like, pretty much that whole year. Like, Broccoli City, they gave me my first media pass ever. Like, shout out to Brandon, shout out to D-Perk, shout out to Marcus, shout out to Tiffany, shout out to Teresa, to all of them. Like, they really gave me my first shot at, like photographing festivals. And it's just the way how I went about it, too, man, because, like, man, like, I always kind of had this attitude, like, if it don't work, then it just ain't gonna work. Like, I don't have a plan B for most things I do in life, right? Like, if it don't work, like, it ain't even if it don't work, like, it's just gonna work.
Hey.
Like, that's just how it is. Like, it ain't over until it's over. You know what I'm saying?
I
Until
like
my heart
that.
stops. So it's like, all right, I'm not really good at anything else because I don't want to be good at anything else. So I want to be good at photography so I can do this for the rest of my life, right? So my thing is, right, with Broccoli City, it's like I sent in I think a application to shoot for them.
Gotcha.
And I didn't get a response in the time that I wanted to get the response. So I would post on socials, and I would tell people to tag them under post on socials to just let them know how hungry I was, right? And it's something that they really fucked with, right? Because can I curse?
Do your thing.
Okay, bet. I'm a bit of a potty mouth, but I'm gonna try. Look, I'm gonna try to reserve myself, okay? But it's just they really fucked with it because I had the willingness of, like, I guess, putting myself out there without even caring how people saw me or how people judged me, right? People thinking that I'm pressed. Like, people, like, nah, I ain't care. Like, to this day, I still follow up with people. Like, I follow up with people until I get a response.
Persistency is key. I say that's what I use in my journey.
Yeah.
You got to be on people because it's either you want this or you don't.
Yeah, no, literally. And I ain't going like that. Like, if I really want something, I ain't going like that.
Hey.
Because I know how I feel to not have that. Like, I'm like, nah, I'd rather have it. Like, it just is what it is. But, you know, just to move forward a little bit. So, Broccoli City, they gave me my first ever media pass that year. And then, like, later that year, Electro, they gave me my media pass too. Shout out to Ahad. Shout out to Modi. Like, bro, I had the flu. I think I had the flu that festival. And I got probably one of the better pictures of Kid Cudi that year, and like to the point where I was just in the back of like the room just editing, and I sent in the photo and I was just chilling back there and like by myself because I just wasn't feeling well. I was coughing, I was doing all types of shit, I was sneezing and doing all types of crazy shit. So it's like they kind of, all of them came back there, like all of the founders of Electro kind of came back there and was like, yo, did you take this photo? I was like, yeah, what's going on? Is everything all right? He was like, yo, thank you. Like, Modi, he was just like, yo, thank you. And he gave me a hug. And, you know, he was like, yo, let me know if you ever need anything. And to this day, I can hit Modi. And if I need something, if he can do it, he'll do it for me. To this day, I can still hit Modi and we can just still talk about just random shit, right?
Right.
And this is somebody I really look up to and admire just off of how he moves. Because, like, I don't know, like I see myself being in that position hopefully at some point in my life, and I hope I can move in the same way.
Shoot, you are.
I appreciate it.
And I think what's so dope is, like you said, they saw the picture and immediately was just like, thank you. Something about the way you take pictures, there's like a care there. Yeah. It's like you took this with intention and you wanted to make sure this was something that you can take and showcase. This is what you are by me capturing that. How important is that to get that? And like, what is that zone like for you? Because it seems like you take the picture with like a notion of, I want your art to be at its best with this shot, and with this, it's going to pour out to the world.
I mean, it's all I got. It's all I got. Like I said, if I don't do this right, it's game over. Like, it's all I got. Like, I gotta do the things I gotta do. Like, I don't have the same support like as most people have. Like, I don't, like what I'm doing. Like I gotta do it. Yeah. Like, it just gotta get done. Like, there's certain things like you realize as a man. It's like certain things you just gotta get done. Yeah, sure. And like, for me to like step out, like it's been times where people ain't satisfied with photos. I just give them a full refund. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I don't want free money. Like, I want to be able to work for mine because, like, this is all I got. Like, my reputation, my name is all I got. Like, anytime I release anything, it's all I got. Like, this is what I do for a living, and I don't really have help for people to, like, support me if I ever, like, ain't no slow season for me. Like, I got to figure this shit out. Like, I got to be able to make ends meet in them slow seasons. Like, I got to be able to have the same energy. If not, I need to overwork myself. Like, I got to do it because ain't nobody else going to do it for me. And that's just how it is. Like, I got to stay up late and I got to do things I got to do. Like, I got to make sure I get 7 hours of sleep a night. Like, it's certain things that I got to do that can't nobody do for me, and ain't nobody going to take care of me.
And your business head is really turned on. And I want to touch on that because we're in the realm where everybody thinks that they could just be a photographer. And they don't understand that there's a business that comes with it. Yeah. What is that like, getting into business mode? Because it's easy to capture the art for you now. And then how does it now stepping into the business mode of like curating the brand, making sure the brand is sufficing? What is that like?
Man, I'm so hands off with it that it's just, I'm aware of it, but I don't pay too much attention to it, right? Because, like, my thing is it'll always be equality for me, right? Mm-hmm. Like, even if I do leave this planet, I'm not the most, like, successful $1 million photographer, then they'd be able to say I took a bad photo or I released a bad photo. Like, that's where I'm at with it. And my thing is, like, just do it. Like, just do it. Like, I'm one of them guys where, like I said, like, when I went to go check in for my dorm room, either I went to go shoot Kanye or I checked in for my dorm room because it was the last day I shot. Like, it was the last day for me to check into my dorm room. I was like, I had to make a decision. I ain't had no plan, bro. I ain't had no plan. I just knew in that moment, if Kanye people was reaching out to me to shoot for Kanye at Capital One Arena for the St. Paulo tour, either I need to go to school and be an accountant, or I need to go and take pictures of Kanye and be a photographer. I had to pick, and I had probably 10, 15 minutes to make that decision that would change the whole trajectory of my life, right? And it's just, either way, I'm a struggle. Either way, I'm a struggle in the process. So I had to fall in love with being able to struggle. Like, I had to fall in love with being able to figure out myself. Like, I had to fall in love with the process. And it's like, for me, there's not really an end in mind until, like I said, until my life comes to an end.
I love that. And we're thankful that you picked the right decision, because the DMV would have missed out on the treasure if you picked accounting.
Man, look, I appreciate it, man. I'm also a firm believer in, when God put thoughts in your head, he also put the same ideas in other people's heads at the same time, and it's just a race for whoever can get to it first, they're going to get to it. So it's like, most of the time I'm real quick on trying to make sure I get my thoughts out, right? Because I'm a firm believer in, yes, people are getting the same ideas you're getting in real time at the same time you're getting these ideas. Who's going to do it first? Yeah. That's where we at, right? Who's going to do it first and who's going to do it right, right? That's where we at with it. Like,
yeah, okay, I heard. So 2016 clearly was a great year that was really defining for you.
Hell nah.
You don't think so?
I mean, bro, so this is the misconception, right? Of like just photography and just business in general, right?
Got you.
Like, this year was the best, worst year of my life.
Really?
The best, worst year of my life. I made the most money I've ever made this year, but I've also been the most disrespected I've ever been in my life this year, business-wise, right? I've also had to deal with the most hardships in my life as an adult this year, right? Like, but the money is good, right? The money is good, so I'm not tripping. I got a roof over my head, but this is why I say this is the best, worst year of my life, right? Like, in 2016, it was a rough year because, bro, just dropping out like that, like, you gotta understand something. I didn't necessarily make my first 6-figure year until COVID. So it's like, up until then, I was struggling, right? I was in survival mode. I was struggling. And it's like, up until that point, I would be going, like, holiday season, I'd be going to dinners and family would be like, all right, so when you gonna go back to school? Or when you gonna go get a job? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you first get on the cusp of being of something great, right? It's a margin of error that everybody has to bypass, right? So I'm learning, right? I'm able to walk away with more money than I did last year, not only because I made more money this year, but because I also spent my money differently this year, right? You gotta think too. Ain't nobody really teaching me this stuff, so it's like, on the outside looking in, yes, I'm doing amazing, or yes, 2016 was a phenomenal year, but personally, hell nah. Hell no. Like, I'm at a point now where I have to rebuild my relationship with my whole family, right? Because I haven't necessarily been there. Like, I got nieces and nephews that don't really know me because the last 4 or 5 years I've been grinding, right? Like, once I get to a place, hopefully I make it there while I'm alive, where I can turn down meetings and there's 6-figure offers on the table for shoots. Hopefully I can turn them down because I got to pick my daughter up from a recital or something, right? Like, that's the goal for me when I get to 30, like, me being able to have time more of a currency than money, right? Like, because the thing is, money, you know how much you got left when you spend it, but time, you can spend it all day and you reach back in your wallet, you don't know how much you got left. You don't, like, I don't even know, bro, God forbid, bro, I could walk out of this studio and get hit by a bus and y'all just don't ever see me again. But this is how I spent the last 2 hours of my life. I spent it here with you, right? Like, time in comparison to money is worth more than money, in my opinion, right? Some people at peace not having the most money because they got the most time. So it's like, that's where I'm trying to get at. Like, the goal is not to make a bunch of fucking money, right? Like, of course, yes, that's one of the goals, but that's not the goal, right? The goal is to be able to reclaim my time and being able to have the freedom to do whatever I want in this life with my family, with my fiance. Hopefully, it's my wife by then, right? Like, that's really the goal. Being able to spend time with my family, being able to spend time with my chosen family as well. Right, like, to be able to pour into people, Like, yes, I made the most money I ever made this year, 2023, but it's like I have not been able to be as much of a voice in the community that I would like to be.
Gotcha.
Right? So it's a time thing, though. I don't have the most time in the world like this year because I'm making the most money I ever made. So it's like now, with me bypassing this margin of error, now I'm trying to get to a point where I can have enough time to also invest into myself, also into the company, and also into other people, right? And just having the mental capacity to be able to do that. Like, that's just where I'm at with it. Like, just not being able to, not having to deal with things that take up so much time from me, right? So I don't know if I jumped the gun or anything.
No, I'm glad you said this because there are a lot of people that follow and respect you.
Appreciate it.
And they're on the grind like yourself, and there's certain things that we also have to, that we, in the grind, we're so in the hungry phase of making sure we make our mark and doing what we're doing in our purpose, that the outside world, like time, family, all of that, can sometimes be pushed to the back burner. And you're also letting them know that you can focus on an arena of inputting that into what you're doing.
Man.
And so I think you're also helping them see that, you know, everything doesn't have to be about chasing money. It could actually be about the important
It depends on who you are, though.
Yeah.
It depends on who you are. This life comes down to what you have to offer or to sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice, right? What are you willing to sacrifice? Me personally, I did the ultimate sacrifice, time. I sacrificed my time to be here with you. I sacrificed my time to do retainer gigs. Like, I sacrificed my time to make the most money I ever made this year, right? Like, I sacrificed my time. I sacrificed relationships to get to where I'm at. Like, I've missed out on funerals because I had to work. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's what people don't keep in mind. If you want to be successful, what are you willing to sacrifice? If you don't have the proper support, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice? Like, that's the biggest question mark people need to ask themselves when they become an entrepreneur. What are you willing to sacrifice?
That's an amazing question. It also allows me, and not only myself, but the viewers, I get even more respect and appreciation for you.
I appreciate it.
Because you're a definition of hard work.
I appreciate it.
And we're seeing your success because you really did the work. And you're doing the work.
Appreciate it.
And I think we're in a microwave phase. I think that's just due to social media. They see the front of the curtain. They don't see what took to get behind the curtain. Yeah. So they don't see the work. Like, it's really work. Like Beyonce says, don't speak about it. Don't talk about it. Do it. And you're actually doing it. And actually seeing and hearing your sacrifices really makes me respect you even more, because there's a reason why your career is so dynamic and why you're such a pillar in the DMV, because you really did the work. No questions asked. So this is why I was so excited to interview you as well, because I'm a fan of you.
Thank you.
And there are fans like us from the DMV that want to just learn this.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it more because now we see exactly why you are where you are.
Yeah.
And it also makes the doubter that think that they can be you see that no, this is something that really took molding, really took fostering, really took sacrificing, really took missing out on things that sometimes we hope to not miss. You did that so that you can be where you are today. Yeah. And so the respect level grows from there.
I mean, for anybody to even want to be me, don't pray to even be me. Like, for real, some real shit, because it's certain things you're going to have to deal with that I had to go through. Like, my mother died in my arms on Christmas 2012.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all good. Like, luckily for me, I studied Stoicism and I studied philosophy, right? And I studied Buddhism as well prior to that when I was in middle school.
Okay.
So it's like I had to change my whole perspective when I was going through what I was going through. And like even now to this day, like it's constant changing of perspective, because it's more, look, you can always think in your mind it's more bad than good going on, but once you start to think like that, that's when you really start to lose yourself, and you start to lose your grasp on reality, right? And the reality of things, right? Like you can look at something and be like, okay, this is a shit situation. But at the same time, that's just being realistic if it is a shit situation. But you got to understand that you can always turn a situation around, right? Reason why I would say don't pray to even be me is because I've done things and I've had things done to me in the past that I'm not, like, I live with a few regrets here and there, right? Like, but it's just, I mean, everybody though, like, just be yourself, dog. Like, be yourself, because it's like being yourself is hard enough, more than likely. Yes, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, it just is what it is, right? For you to get to this point, like I said, it's just all about what you're willing to sacrifice. Like, you sacrificing your time right now, like, to be here with me. Like, you sacrificing your time. Like, this is your grind. Like, Mo sacrificing his time to do video. Like, we all sacrificing time. It's like, what you sacrificing though? What are you sacrificing for though? Like, when I was sacrificing my time between 2016 and 2019, I didn't know what I was sacrificing my time for. I just knew that. I just knew I was great. I'm gonna put it like that. I knew I was great. I knew I was great from the jump. I knew I was. I wasn't the most talented. I wasn't the most talkative. I didn't connect with the most people, but I knew for a fact that wasn't nobody gonna outwork me. To this day, I'm still not the most talented, but I don't give a fuck, because ain't nobody gonna outwork me. Even on my worst days, ain't nobody gonna outwork me. Ain't nobody got the same ratio I got of situations that done gone good and situations that done gone bad when it comes to this photography shit. Even, like I said, even when people feel like they ain't satisfied with the photos and they can't use them, I give them their money back. I don't want your money, which I shouldn't be doing, but it's just, I don't feel right spending free money. Like, nah, let me work for it. That's where I'm at with it. Like, this is my life. Everything I love, this is what I put my life into. This is what I sacrificed my whole life for 6 years. This has been my life for 6 years.
And I also, to take away from this, I also like that with your platform being so great, I love that you're also responsible with it. Just like you just mentioned, I don't take free money. I think there's also a good rapport about your name, an amazing reputation, and it also allows people to see that you can actually be great and still be a good person.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the beautiful thing to
it's subjective though. It depends on who you ask about me. Some people don't like me. Some people don't like me. It is what it is. But I mean, they ain't gonna disrespect me. It just means a lot to me when people say, "Oh, I got my photo taken and it looks amazing. Thank you." Media Prince, man, I done so much shit over the like real shit. Like, I just be working my ass off. Like, be some days I don't even like. Hygiene don't be the best. I be trying to run it up, trying to run that high score up. You know what I'm saying?